Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to a report by Singapore's Lian He Zhao Bao, a diplomatic source revealed on June 17th that European member states of the Group of Seven, G7, and the United States plan to authorize Ukrainian companies to manufacture long-range missiles and air defense systems. This plan was subsequently confirmed by German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, who explained that current production levels across G7 nations are too low. To bridge this gap, G7 countries intend to grant manufacturing licenses to companies with the necessary production capabilities, including firms in Europe and Ukraine. Merz noted that U.S. companies, in particular, will be able to issue these licenses to European manufacturers. He also expressed gratitude to U.S. President Donald Trump for showing a great willingness to cooperate on this initiative. The G7 leaders are currently holding a summit in Authorize, France, where they have pledged to intensify pressure on Russia to help bring an end to the war in Ukraine, which has now lasted for more than 4 years. According to a report by Lian He Zhao Bao, the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, has successfully foiled a conspiracy to launch a terrorist attack during an Ultimate Fighting Championship, IFC event held on the White House lawn last weekend. 5 suspects have been arrested in connection with the plot. The event, which celebrated the 250th anniversary of American independence and coincided with President Donald Trump's 80th birthday, was attended by Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and numerous high-profile political figures and donors. According to court documents, the conspiracy involved using explosives-laden drones to attack the north side of the White House to force attendees toward a designated exit where waiting gunmen would ambush them. The FBI initiated an investigation after the mother of a 19-year-old suspect reported her son's suspicious weapon purchases and extremist online activities. Authorities revealed that the suspects were driven by anti-government conspiracy theories and dissatisfaction with the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. Reports suggest up to 23 people may be involved, and Vice President Vance has called for a thorough investigation into any potential secret networks funding the operation. According to a report by the Liberty Times, protesters in Mongolia have blocked the main transport road of a massive copper mine operated by Rio Tinto, partially disrupting critical copper supply to China. The activist group, known as the Radical Reform Movement, initiated the blockade to demand a greater share of mining revenues for the local population. Despite the country's vast mineral wealth, poverty remains a persistent issue in Mongolia. The Utogoi mine, located in the deep Gobi Desert near the Chinese border, is a vital source of copper, which is an essential raw material for electric vehicles, solar panels, and wind turbines, industries where China currently leads the global market. Rio Tinto, which holds a 66% stake in the mine alongside the Mongolian government's 34%, warned that the blockade has forced a suspension of copper concentrate shipments. The company further cautioned that a week-long shutdown would cost the Mongolian government approximately 35 billion tugriks, about $13.3 million in lost tax revenue, which normally accounts for about 9% of the nation's total budget. According to a report by Kyodo News, leaders of the Group of Seven, D7, nations focused on the safe, rapid, and efficient deployment of artificial intelligence and addressing global economic imbalances as they wrapped up their 3-day summit in Evian-les-Bains, France. During the sessions, Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi emphasized the need for G7 members and like-minded countries to collaborate in reducing global economic uncertainty. She also called for rectifying non-market policies and excess production that distort the global market, particularly pointing to challenges posed by major economies like China. The closing discussions on artificial intelligence included a working lunch attended by executives from prominent AI firms such as OpenAI and Anthropic, focusing on innovation, practical applications, and online safety for children. To avoid highlighting internal disagreements, the leaders are not expected to issue a traditional comprehensive joint communiqué at the end of the summit. Instead, the G7 has opted to release topic-specific documents where consensus was more readily achievable, marking the second consecutive year without an overall. According to a report by Radio Canada International, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney revealed during a CNN interview that he has reviewed a copy of the preliminary agreement between the United States and Iran aimed at ending hostilities in the Middle East. Describing the deal as a game changer, Carney expressed that it exceeded his expectations and established a crucial framework to ensure Iran does not acquire a nuclear weapon. The terms of the unpublished agreement reportedly include a 60-day negotiating period after signing, the reopening of the strategic Strait of Hormuz, and the lifting of blockades that have severely disrupted global energy supplies. Although details remain scarce and criticisms persist over the exclusion of key players like Israel and Hezbollah, Carney highlighted that Canada stands ready to assist in implementing the agreement. Potential Canadian support includes mine clearance in the strait, unfreezing financial assets, and providing raw materials like oil and critical minerals to diversify supply chains. Following discussions on Iran at the G7 summit in France, G7 leaders turned their attention to Ukraine, where Carney announced new Canadian sanctions against Russian entities and vessels. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.